Some of these lines melted. It burned all the way up here.
My gosh, I'd hate to have to restring lines.
That old house was abandoned up there.
Was it?
Yeah. It's ugly as sin out here now. Show me, son. Yeah, look at this. It looks like PG&E's or whoever it is out in force. Simcoe. I don't have my hazmat on, but
Well, you're semi-legit.
I think it'd be a melt if I had that thing on.
Darren, where are the masks and things?
They're in your car.
They are? Where?
Try,
You know, it doesn't make sense to me how the hell one burns and the other don't.
Well, that thing was blowing.
Holy cow. Hi. I'm going to take a few pictures and then I'm going to start.
I'm retrieving what I think are his ashes.
Okay.
all these tiles, Gary. These tiles all like got nails sticking up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lots of.
I'm sure that some of them are, Peg.
Some are, some aren't, but you know what? He's in Reading.
That's right.
There were things, there was like a locket.
A locket?
A gold locket, so I thought, well, that's cool.
Yeah, hang on, I'll get the metal detector.
A lot of nails in here.
Yeah. What's that hose doing there?
That's the weird thing. You'll find shit that's in places you never thought. Like,
Oh, I know.
so you think you're looking at one room.
There was a bottle I saw in one of the pictures over here.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to get that.
Yeah, it's like you'll see stuff in one room that somehow, the wall falls over in another room.
Yeah.
There's a hose.
Yeah, you're right. The umbrellas are still there. Okay. Guys, clean this pool. going in. What? Yeah, bunch of them. They just flew in the air. There's, what's up there in the air? Yeah, I'll do a YouTube video and put it on. That house made it, that one didn't. An outlet went in. That boy needs one of our masks.
They work twice as hard.
You need a big fire break there.
I'd say that. They cleared the edge under this.
Got going a dog in a wagon. Dog must have liked it. He was wagging his tail. Yeah, we tried going through there today.
Yeah, Harlem.
Yeah, all over.
It's a mess back there.
Yeah, it was really bad. Hey, dude. Oh. Huh? I'm gonna walk through and then over by the pool. And Hey, Ray wanted us to throw in some chlorine.
Yeah, we don't have any.
Yeah, it's right here. He was saying tablets, but you have to have the skimmer running for that.
I don't think it would do any good anyway.
Probably not.
The water is not circulating.
What happened to the spa?
They gave that to Paul.
Oh, okay. I started to say it just totally disappeared.
Yeah, I watched in here. There's probably a ton of nails.
Yeah.
That whole deck just vaporized. All the nails are left behind. Look at that silver at the base of those things.
Yeah, I think that's all the metal that
Oh,
melted down up
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Melted and puddled. Boy, that was some hot fire. We'll go out here and get the solar panels. All the pump looked good. I took a picture of it. They all come through good.
you know it'd be worth money, but I don't know if I'd want to dig it up right now because
What's that?
these edging, these things are metal.
Oh,
water
yeah.
edging. But it would probably
Not only that, the lights.
enhance the erosion going on.
Of course, you'd have to rewire the damn lights. It wouldn't be worth it. So they came out good. Let's go down and get a picture of the gully. Well, I bet there was some moles and everything else scrambling.
Man, I just hammered that whole hillside. See this thing here, the heat just melted.
Oh, just melted it, yeah. What's that?
It doesn't even look like it phased this thing.
No, it didn't even bow it. That's why I think it came up here.
Yeah.
Or over here, either one.
I don't think it could have burned hot enough here. But it could have been the trees up there as well. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think it really came up over here because it got
Yeah,
this,
me too.
got the
It's probable.
guest house.
It's weird though. It's like such a butterfly effect
Yeah, no.
from the guy's tire. Looks like French gold. Can't even be mad at him. The butterfly effect is the houses all burned down.
Yeah.
I ended up having dogs pissing shit in the floor.
Yep. It's all relative.
Oh,
Damn butterfly flaps its wings in China and we all
butterfly.
have a problem.
I'll fix that thing up maybe later today.
What's that?
That table, I put it in the car.
Oh, okay.
We can fix it up.
Yeah. Steel wool it and
Yeah, I don't
or
know
wire brush it.
what'll make it black again.
Oh, it'll be black. That's just
Like oil.
soot and
I'm gonna rub some oil on it, I guess.
yeah.
Pardon my dust.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't see that bottle, huh?
Behind the green door. That facade's just barely standing, you know.
Yeah, if you peek your head, watch, there's a lot of nails over there.
Okay.
But right there on this, where this panel rests up against the thing,
Uh-huh.
if you walk up to that window there and look down, you'll see some cups that were intact.
Oh, down there?
Yeah. There's a lot of nails in there.
Cups. Oh.
Most of them are shattered.
How you doing? Hi. Jim, there's your Cooper. God, all these are for sale, you know. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the table construction. We did it in 3 phases. The first phase, we went and looked for material, plywood, and we purchased a saw, and we actually made a jig so that we could cut out the circles. And you'll see some of those here coming up. We looked online for different glues and grouting materials that we would need. Here's some plywood we purchased, exterior, and this is the jig we made for the saw. The saw fits in there and keeps the blade in a perfect circle. We also made it where we could do different radiuses in case we needed to do something with the base. Here's the saw in the template there. Here's the 2 circles we cut, and we joined them together with liquid nails and some screws. Here's Carol, deer in the headlights, no doubt. We lost the audio and we brought this over from the original recording that we made of the table. We're putting it in this video because it's easier to put it on YouTube. But again, we lost that audio, and I apologize for that. I'm not really sure what all we're explaining here, but anyway, we went to Habitat for Humanity and picked up some small tiles that we could put in. That way we could separate the table layout into sections, which actually helped us with the grouting because we only had a limited time to work with it. Here's some of the original layout. We knew we needed a border. Again, different layouts that we worked with, and we decided in the end on the flower petal type design. And we tried to do all of the wording on some of the broken dishes facing outward. We had to wash each one of these pieces and cut them in some instances where they would fit. Some of the things were kind of rounded, and we wanted to make sure they stuck with the glue. So overall, it was a process that took quite a bit of time, but it was worth it. I think the end result was well worth it. This is a placeholder in the middle, and this is what we use to cut the different tiles, especially around the bottom edge. Here is the tile that finally came in, the picture tile, and here we show where it's going to go on the table. We needed to protect that somehow, so what we did is we used liquid resin, and we had to put some tape around the edge of that, which you'll see later, to build up a 1/16 inch border around it that would hold the resin when we poured it. And here you see the preparation for it. Again, lost the video, but here I'm explaining the tape that we put around, and it gave us a little bit of a stand-up border so that we could pour the resin. This is a clear resin that you see on a lot of tables in restaurants with menus and messages underneath. We took this small package of it. It came with a catalyst that we have to mix, and again, we only have a certain amount of time to work with this. And when you stir it, you need to stir it for 3 to 5 minutes, and that puts a lot of air into the mixture. So what we do with that is we take a heat gun or a hair dryer and go over it, and it brings the bubbles to the surface and pops them, and that way you have a smooth glass-like finish. And this process took a little bit of time because we have to wait for the resin to set up and harden, and then take the tape off and finish the edges. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put this on the table. And when we put it on the table, we're going to have to cover it with something because the grout we chose was a sanded grout. And it would really scratch up the surface of this if we hadn't protected it. So later on you'll see where we put tape over it. Here is after the resin's been applied, and we're going to let it dry and set up. But overall it came out pretty nice. There's our heat gun, as you see. And we use that again to pop the bubbles. We're just about ready, I think, to put the grout on the rest of the table. We'll see in a couple of other pictures coming up here. But first, we have to go and tape some edges on the bottom. We've got this flipped over now, and we want to put some tape around the edges of this so this urethane that we're putting on the bottom doesn't get into these channels where our grout's going to go later on. So that was a process. Here we're showing the urethane that we're going to use, and we actually put about 3 or 4 coats. I believe it was 3. We may have put 4 on the table. And we also used a spray sealant. We used a can of it on that also. And that was just to protect any moisture from getting into the wood or in between the wood sections. But the grout eventually covered all that, so we didn't worry too much about it, but we wanted to make sure that it was sealed. Here we're getting ready doing a little painter's dance, if you want to call it that. We applied this with a brush, and we had to open the garage door to make sure that we didn't succumb to the fumes. But it was a process like everything else because we had to let it dry in between coats. So you'll see coming up here what it looks like after all the coats are put on it. Okay, here's what the table looks like after about 3 coats. We use those screws and washers to pull all the 2 sections together when we put the liquid nails in. So that's why you see screws. We also have a hole drilled in the middle. That's where our template was when we cut the circles. We still have the bolt in there that we used. That's just to keep the hole open in case we needed to do anything else with it, like a base, put a base on it or drill a base. The base was in Reading, so we really had no idea how this thing was actually going to fit on the table at this point. As it turned out, it fit perfectly without having to add a different base. So we got lucky there. Here showing the side tiles that have been glued on, and we're retaping it in a different way to hold the grout in place so it doesn't slide down through there and end up on the floor. We had to cut each one of these tiles by hand with that clipper tool that we showed earlier. Here's the picture tile in the middle covered to protect it, and we're getting pretty close here with all of the things glued down, all the pieces. We had to make sure that there was enough room between each of them to have enough grout to hold the pieces in. We used sanded grout because anything over a quarter of an inch, I believe, was what it said on the package. You needed to use sanded grout to give it more strength if the gap was bigger than a quarter of an inch. So that's what we did. We're just about ready, I believe, to start grouting. Okay, here we're checking the temperature. This grout has to be, I believe it was 55 degrees and above, 50 degrees. And we had to open the door to let some sunshine in because we'd had some cloudy days, and it was cold in the mornings. And so here we're checking to make sure that our tape is still stuck good, and we'll be getting ready to grout. We need to get our buckets of water and our sponges. We're going to do this in sections. This grout only allows us, I believe, 10 or 15 minutes before it starts to really set up. It's a premium grout, and it's a little more expensive, but it was one that we thought would do the job better than just a regular grout. And here Carol is applying her artistic qualities to the table. If you look to the right, we've already done this section on the right. I don't know if we can see it very well in the video, but yeah, we made sure we spread the grout real good in all the areas, and kind of pressed it down and made sure it fit all the gaps and holes. And then we had to come back through with wet sponge and keep going over it till we got the grout smoothed down and all the pieces pretty much clear. We would have to hand polish later. Here's the one section already done, and again you can see the tape that's protecting the picture tile. Here's the sponge work in action. We have to go over it and a bunch of times to smooth it out, and then we wanted to get it off, most of the grout that we could, off of each individual piece. We need to do that before it sets up for the end result, because you'll never get this stuff off if you don't do individual pieces and polish them. So that's what we ended up doing after this. And overall, it came out pretty good. I was impressed with the grout. It held good, and the end result looked really nice. And here's the end result. Came out pretty nice. We still need to do some polishing and shining, but overall the grouting is all done, and that's pretty much the process we took to build the table. So hope you guys enjoy it.